what's up? Hello, I hope you all are doing well. There are so many book covers in the world, and recently, as I have been making visits to bookstores to do my annual springtime book picking out for gifts for people, I have seen some beautiful ones, and it got me to thinking that there are such beautiful books on my shelf that I already own that maybe I should talk about them more. So today I want to share with you 5 book covers that I think are quite successful in that they make me like them. So the artistry and the design has been successful, and just some ideas about why they're beautiful and their connections to content. And I think this does include perhaps one of, if not my favorite book cover that I've owned of all time. So stay tuned. The first one that I want to talk about is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This, I believe, is the original cover. This is the UK edition, and I believe was the original cover at the time it was published. And first of all, this has a metallic-y type of sheen to the printing. The negative space up here with the clouds almost, where they've put the title, and then underneath where they've got that sort of overhead shot of the city. Really nicely balanced, I think, for drawing the eye in. The title again being stacked along the spine with the words on top of each other instead of in a row up and down. I just think the balance of this is really nice. It is subtle but also detailed, and it's got that sort of metallic-y feeling that isn't sparkly, because this isn't exactly a sparkly book, but it does give a sense of ominousness. There's probably a real adjective that I'm not saying correctly there, but it feels ominous while also being beautiful, which definitely for me reflects the events that are taking place in this book. There are small moments where things are beautiful and great and hopeful, and then other moments that are just downright horrifying. Very much on my list of books that I would want to display. The next cover I want to talk about is completely different. It is a cover that's jam-packed with almost every idea and theme and character in the story to sort of tell you exactly what you're about to get yourself into before you even open the book. And that is Feel the Burn by Andrew Shafer. And it's so hard to talk about this without laughing. As Vermonter, who for many years was a constituent of Bernie Sanders, this is hilarious to me. This is if you haven't already heard me talk about this, this is a Bernie Sanders mystery. It takes place in Vermont, and it's a murder mystery where he and his Gen Z intern have to solve the case. So apart from that being a hysterical plot, I love this cover because it has everything pretty much that's going on in the story. Like, you've got the rustic Vermonty barn look, you've got the now classic image of Bernie being grumpy with his mittens sitting in the chair. You know that this person over here, the intern with the coffee and the cell phone and the Gen Z attitude, is 100% gonna personify that look. This over here is apparently a disembodied hand in a pool of maple syrup, really honing in on the idea of Big Maple, as if that's more of a thing than it really is. And then these drones slash helicopters that are flying overhead of the beautiful Vermont foliage. There's nothing about this that I don't love. It cracks me up every single time I see it on the shelf. The spine is a nice orangey autumnal color, and just it tells you everything that you need to know. This is like the theme songs of sitcoms in the 1950s, right? Where they explain the plot of the entire show before you even watch it. And I love that about this. It is not like a vibe. It's not a feeling. It's not trying to convey a tone. It's trying to tell you exactly what you're about to get into. And it does it so well. I think I have more particular feelings about this than other folks would because of being a Vermonter, and like this means a lot to me, and having existed sort of in that political science space for so long, I can't handle it. It's too good. I'm probably making it a lot more than it really is, but it's too good. And I also just noticed there's a black cat right there, so talk about ominous symbolism, friends, right up front. Also in my collection of like top 5 favorite covers is The Milk Lady of Bangalore by Shobha Narayan. And I saw this cover on the internet right when I first heard about this book and just fell in love with it, quite honestly, which is not a phrase that I like to use a lot, but the texture of this. It's not a textured piece of paper, but the texture that is conveyed between the flowers and the sketch of the cow and the dots in the background, and these accents in the corners. It's gorgeous and it pops. And again, this sort of is just like the last book in that it tells you what it's going to be about. Like, there's clearly going to be a cow involved here. Milk lady, cow, we get it. Reinforcing the title, reinforcing the content. Cool. Bangalore, India, and other South Asian cultures are often defined, at least from the outside, if not also from the inside, by these bright colors. So we've got the pinks and the oranges and the yellows happening here, right? It's a gorgeous book front. And between the title and this giant cow's head, it is so compelling. The Milk Lady of Bangalore. This offers you such a question, right? What is this book really going to be about? Who is the Milk Lady? Why is she a Milk Lady? Is she a farmer? Is she in a rural or an urban setting? Let's think about that a little bit based on the title. It offers you such a draw in a very beautiful, like, texturally defined way. It says it's an unexpected adventure, which with a title like that, how could it not be? And I just feel like this is really successful in making a reader who might not already know about this story drawn in. And if you do know about the story, reinforcing the interest in wanting to read the book in the first place. I have not read this book yet. It's definitely on my list for this year. I think I've talked about it a few times already. I'm so excited to enjoy this and see what all of the fuss is about, because I have really not seen any poor reviews of this book anywhere at all. Well, often on BookTube we talk about our favorite book covers because they are beautiful and we find them aesthetically interesting and want to display them. Not all of the covers that I think I'm going to show in this video are what you might call pretty, right? So I'm trained as a dancer in Liz Lerman's method of critical response, which asks us to look a little deeper, more than just what did we like about something, but really pushing down on why something artistic is successful. And I want to keep that in mind as we talk about this next book, which is Muppets in Moscow, the unexpected, crazy true story of making Sesame Street in Russia. I so enjoyed not only reading this book, but also making the review for this book. And I can't get over this cover. Stark, full of imagery that conveys the two main ideas of the title and combines them so completely that it looks like one thing. Gorgeous reds, very deep yellows. I don't know that this could have been done better, because this is not the first book out there about Sesame Street that has been kind of written with a little bit of a tough connotation. If you compare it to something like Street Gang, right, by Michael Davis, this is cute. This is fun. There's a lot happening here. You see all of these different characters that you recognize. It lends like a fun attitude to a word that we traditionally associate with something a little bit rougher or seedier, right? So there's a lot happening here. There's so many faces going on, and yet with this, by contrast, so stark, so sleek, so pointed, right? So minimal. And I won't say so censored, but I could. This is such an effective cover to me, and I'm once again just even noticing like the little textural lines of what I assume is Elmo here in the background. Incredible. Favorite cover of mine. Also one of my favorite books of last year. I think that this style is definitely worthy of emulation. I'm sort of getting tired of the two-tone thing, or like the scrawl of the title and the author's name in the same size font across the cover, a la like Fault in Our Stars, and like the handwriting thing. It's not 2012 anymore. This is definitely a way to go. And having said that, this is going to sound entirely contradictory, but this is one of the most beautiful books I've ever had, and that's The Glass Books of the Dream Eaters by G.W. Dahlquist. I've always loved this. I've loved this cover since I first saw it on the shelf in the library in Chelsea, in London. It's golden, it's metallic, it's got this beautifully detailed mask in the front, and the composition here, we've got this big circle, we've got this kind of oblong yet trapezoidal shape with two smaller ovals in the center of what's certainly a circle. The book itself is textured along the outside to be a little bit stained, right? So it's got an old look to it. The back, which is not the cover, but the back has the beginnings of like a newspaper type situation, an old-timey newspaper, print blocking. And the spine takes its cues from the front. This blue and that gold and the proportions that are happening here make this so eye-catching for a fantasy adventure novel. This is probably my favorite book cover of all time. I'll contradict myself in a year or two, but right now, this one's it. I've looked for years for this copy of the book. I've said that at least 5 times in the last year, I think, and now I have it, and it's just beautiful. The drawing is beautiful. The golden metallic nature of it is beautiful. This I bought for the cover, and fortunately I already loved the story. So those are some of my top 5 favorite covers of the books that I have here. If you have read any of those, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and feelings on what the covers are, and also what you find are some successful covers out there. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives, and anything that you might want to know about us is, of course, in the description. We'll see you very soon.